Hello boys and girls, how are you doing today? Welcome back to my session. आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है मेरे सेशन में। तो आज हम एक बहुत बेसिक टॉपिक से स्टार्ट करने वाले हैं। वी आर गोइंग to run over fundamentals of VARC. As you guys know, VARC is the most important section in CAT examination and it will be covered in CAT examination 2024 as well. So we have to be equipped with all the tips and tricks that I will be teaching you today, and we will go through this in all our sessions repeatedly so that you don't forget that how we are going to crack VARC section. And guys, it will not be very hard for you because you are at the right channel with the right educator and with the right person that will guide you through whatever it takes to crack 2024 CAT examination. Okay, so today, because it is an introductory section, I will first start with introduction of myself. My name is Juhi Priya and I have done my MBA from Xavier Institute of Social Service in IT and marketing specialization. I have almost 7 years of experience in teaching and I have also been a trainer of soft skill. So I will be running you through all your personality development and motivational education as well. So you guys are in really safe hands. अपने आप को यहाँ पर dedicate कर दो, because you will know how efficiently and effectively you will reach through whatever it takes to take an competitive exam today, tomorrow, or in any of the years to come. Okay, so let's start from the very basic of fundamentals of VARC. So what is a VARC? VARC is almost 80% of weightage in whatever sections that you cover here. VARC is verbal ability, reading comprehension, as you all know. We will run through a reading comprehension. We will know the types of passages that we are going to cover here, and we will also go through some examples of passages so that you don't have any confusion later when you are reading through any passages that are coming across you through practice sessions or through mock sessions or through any examinations that you are appearing for. Okay, let's start with the very first slide that we are going to cover today. Okay, so what is VARC? VARC is actually verbal ability and reading comprehension that I explained in the very beginning. What does it comprise of? It comprises of the section where critical parts of many competitive exams are covered, like CAT, and to break any MBA examination where you are sitting and actually appearing for this session or examinations. So you don't have to fear, you don't have to get afraid of the thing that you're not coming from a very good background where English was very important, or you have just started with English, or you have just thought of giving a competitive exam. You have just thought. You still have 97 days starting today, which will be completed on 24th of November. So you have almost 3 months to cover this, and I assure you, if you will be here with me, you will stick with me to the last of this session, you will actually complete the very basic fundamentals of VARC, because it is not very difficult if you are in practice, if you are in a reading habit. So start with just taking a newspaper, or just going through any novel, or just even if you are in OTT platforms, go through fictions or non-fictional movies. Just get the character, just get the passage, and it'll be very easy for you to determine how quickly and how efficiently you can read through passages. I have also done sessions on speed reading, where I actually tell you how to increase your speed while you have a long passage. Okay, how do you segment through sections, and the author's idea, where you can actually think of matching with the idea and matching with the tone of author's imagination. Okay, So please stay with me, please stick with me, because I will make you understand this in this session, that how breaking down its components and strategizing effectively will help you with a structured presentation in your mind as well. So when you are reading a passage, what comes in your mind for the first time? What comes in your mind? Is it difficult? Is it easy? Is it, just a cake walk for you, or it will be very difficult? These kind of scenarios actually occur in your mind. But when you are in practice, you will be very comfortable with these examinations, where this will not be very difficult for you in coming days. Because when you practice through some passages, when you give mock tests, when you attend my sessions, you will see how basic and briefly I explain all these passages and all these types of passages, where you do not have to worry about how will you cover these sections accordingly. Okay, so please stick with me to the last of this session, because I will also introduce some basic passages where you will get to know that these kind of passages also comes, and I have actually extract these passages from examinations that were previously conducted. So it will also not be a problem seeing how what is the weightage of the question, how does the author or the examiner has set the passage for you. So it will be just a practice run for you, and you will very, very effectively run through these passages and get just through the right answer with simple, very basic tips and tricks. Okay, what is this session talking about? What is this section talking about? This section is talking about that the section tests candidates' ability in verbal reasoning and comprehension and language. Okay, how good your language command is, how good your reading speed is, how good you can actually hold on to the idea of the author. Holding on to the idea of the author is very important, because if you lose hope at the very first of the paragraph, seeing that it's a lengthy paragraph, how will I do it, ma'am, I won't be able to do it, that doesn't work. When you're sitting, when you have actually planned to give examination, competitive examination for this year, you are actually a step ahead from those people who have not even thought of sitting in an examination. So you're already a step forward. Why not just with practice, we'll make this session so interesting that you will actually be very, very comfortable with these competitive exams. Okay, this I have accumulated for you, where the key component for admissions in any MBA college will or actually take weightage from VARC section, because 80% of questions are covered over here. The VARC section actually consists of 24 questions, where 14 to 16 questions are from reading comprehensions, 4 passages and 4 questions each passage contains 4 questions. You will have to go through those questions. And actually, when I was giving my competitive exam, how did I dealt with it? I'll share a small story. My teacher back then used to tell me that, why don't you go through the questions first, because you'll at least have an idea. When you are reading the passage, you will suddenly click that, I think I read this somewhere. Maybe the author was asking this in the question, or maybe the examiner was trying to ask this question from this passage, so that you don't have to run over the questions again. What generally happens is that you go through the passage once. Okay, you are already frustrated, you're already very in a mood where you don't want to read the passage again, and then you go through the questions, then again you have to go to the passage. So here the trick is that you go through the passage first, and then you go to the passage question first, and then you go to the passage, so that you have a rough idea that somewhere these keywords were used. Okay, this tip worked for me very well. I don't know if it will work for you or not. Please try and test it out yourself. I will tell you numerous ideas where you will have those basic tips and tricks to crack this VARC section. But this is one of those. If you can try it, well and good. If you don't want to try it, we can do any other tips that will actually accommodate your thinking style. Okay, this is critical for any examination that you'll be taking in future. And so we will run through this section very briefly. I will not accumulate your mind or just feed in things that are not required. We will do it so sharply, so crisply, that it will be very knowledgeable also, and very interesting at the same point of time. Okay, so the verbal ability section actually contains of grammar, it contains of vocabulary, and it also contains of sentence correction. So these are very basic things that we generally start over when we do verbal ability. And when you are doing a reading comprehension, you actually go through these, but we don't have so much time that we invest time on grammar as well, we invest time on vocabulary as well, we invest time on sentence correction as well. I have different sessions planned, but it will be for future needs. Now we want to focus on the things that are useful, that will be useful in these 3 months. Okay, so we will for now skip this part, because I am assuming and I know that how smart you are, all my aspirants, how smart you are. I'm sure that you have been very intelligently solving these grammar, vocabulary, and sentence correction questions yourself. Okay, so we will now run through the components of the VARC section, which is the leading board of the VARC section, which is the reading comprehension, which is very important. And I have always said that practice makes a man perfect. The amount of practice that you will be accumulating here, the amount of practice, the amount of dedication that you'll be putting in reading any passage, anything that comes to you. If someone is getting you a novel on your birthday gift, don't tell him that I didn't needed this novel. Yes, you needed this novel right now. This novel has come to you with a purpose. That newspaper man has thrown the newspaper on your balcony with a purpose. Go pick it up today and start reading. Your newspaper contains all the categories, all the sections of this world, news and information, and be very informative for you, not only for any competitive exam but for current affairs as well. Okay, so what are passages? Passages are the main character of any reading comprehension, and then we get to questions and answer. So passages is understanding the passage, interpreting the idea, and analyzing how long or short the passage is. So the passage can be long, it can be short, it can be very basic, or it can have a tone also we will discuss of the author. It can be a negative tone, it can be a positive tone, it can have various imaginations of positive vibes, it can have various imaginations of negative vibes. All this will be covered in all the sessions to be followed from today. Today we are doing the basic fundamentals, but I assure you that you will be answered all your questions and requests over here with me. Okay, so after passage we have question answers, where that I said questions related to the main idea, details, inferences, and tone will be detected. As I said, the tone will also be detected, where you will actually understand the tone of the author. What is he trying to tell you? Is it a negative tone? Is it a positive tone? Which language is he using? What kind of imagination he's trying to pass on to you? All this will be answered right here. Okay, so what did we understand here? We understood that the VARC section has two parts consisting of a passage and then a question answer thing, where you are interpreting, where you are understanding the main idea, and then you are giving a conclusion. Okay, shifting to the main slide over here. Now we will be doing the key areas of focuses, where you will try to focus on various types of passages, which consist of 5 types of passages that have been, curated. I have actually curated these passages, types of passages, from the previous examination sessions, where the author was trying to tell you what types of passages it is. This is also important for you to determine the types of passages, because that will make your reading easy. When you determine what kind of passage the author is trying to tell you, is it a descriptive passage, is it an abstract passage, actually 30% of your problem will be solved, because that's how then you will imagine what the author is trying to tell you, and your question answers will be very easy to be solved. Okay, so today we are starting from narrative passage, which actually talks about, oh, I'm really sorry, which actually talks about the narration of the story. What do you think a narrative passage should be? It should be about narration. It should be about who, what, when. These are the types of questions that you'll ask yourself when you're reading through a passage. I'll tell you what, when, and who. These are the 3 types of questions that you will read when you go through a passage. You will, when you are in a practice of determining a passage, you will actually, go through the passage and know that what are the elements of who, what, and when, and that's how you determine the types of passage. I'll read it for you. A story that is written to explain what, when, and who. It reveals what a reader should learn. Okay, narration paragraphs are usually written in chronological order. What are chronological orders? It is written in a sequence. Just like, in your school days, you had an assembly, you used to, make a line according to your alphabetical roll numbers. That's how chronological order are defined. So in a narrative passage, author tries to tell you how sequential this, line by line or idea by idea, these passages are written. It will not be certain ideas of 4 sections where the author is trying to tell you about cricket or beaches or grass or maybe a school. These ideas will not be there. It will consist of only beaches, how chronologically those beaches are explained, what is going over there. All of this will be in a very sequential, very mannered way. Okay, so whenever you go through a narrative passage, you will be self-determined, you will be self-acknowledged of how these passages looks. Okay, it should make a clear point. It should bring to life a moral lesson or idea. Please pay attention to this line where it is written, a once in a lifetime experience. A narrative story will be an author's one time life experience. Okay, you will understand this. Don't get confused. I am going to make it very, very easy. I have chosen a very easy passage for you, which I am going to read it for you. Please be here with me and I will tell you how does this work. I'll just give you 1 minute where you will just go through this passage, and then I will try to explain you what is a narrative passage. Okay, please go through it. I think you must have read this passage. I will read it for you once again. The one day I spent in Morocco, Africa, was an experience of a lifetime. What did I tell you? The author will tell you that he had a once in a lifetime experience. Okay, so that's what he's talking about. He went to Africa, he went to Morocco, and he had a lifetime experience over there. When I finally reached Morocco and got off the bus, there were 4 little girls standing shoeless in the hot sun. Shoeless in the hot sun. There were 4 girls. When he got out of the bus, there were 4 girls who were standing shoeless and were standing in a hot sun, burning their legs. Oh, do you understand the narration? How beautifully the author is trying to narrate a very beautiful story. This can be an emotional story, but it has a moral in the end. Okay, we will discuss it. Please be here. After I swallowed my tears, the author is getting emotional. I could not even try to picture this in America, as it is not something you often see in the US. What is he telling about? That he has come from America, he has come from US, he has never pictured this scenario over there. But in Africa, as you know that in Africa, things are economically very down. People are still struggling to be a developing country. It Various parts of it has been developed, but there are places where there's no technology. There's so much poverty. There are people who are still under so much pressure of even socializing with people. Life that actually we are seeing here has not even reached to them even for 5%. They are still in that phase where they do not know how the world looks like. So the author is talking about that I have never seen this kind of scenario in US, because US is a developed country. Okay. Now, meanwhile, my tourist guide instructed me not to give them money, as it encouraged the children to beg. Okay. What is the tourist guide telling the author? The tourist guide is telling the author that please don't give them money, because it will encourage them to start begging. Once you go in India also, once you go through the traffic lights or once you go to temples, you see small children begging for money, giving food, giving water, giving milk, giving curd is absolutely okay, because they will be eating it. But just giving money to the children, it will bring them in a habit that begging and taking money and then buying something from it is a normal life scenario. They'll stop working. This is how they'll not even understand that how will they get up from this poverty by working. That's how their childhood would be, and that's how the guide is trying to tell the author that if you give them money, they will be encouraged to be begging more. But I'll tell you, in this passage, the author will not be able to hold on to himself, just like me. Because when I see small children on traffic lights, I'm so emotional towards them, that how the world treats everyone on a different level. Why can't world be on same level? Everyone should be on the same level. No poverty, no rich people, everyone on the same level. And because children are also suffering here. Okay, now, not getting very emotional, coming to the passage. As I walked over to the girls, their eyes watched my... okay, I'm really sorry. However, I was wearing 4 silver bracelets. So the author is saying the tourist guide asked me not to give them money. However, I was wearing 4 silver bracelets. I think the author would, give them those bracelets in, despite giving them money. Okay. Moving forward, as I walked over to the girls, their eyes watched my every move. Okay. Then I kneeled down to their level while I gave each girl a bracelet. Oh my God. The author is so beautiful. So beautifully is explaining that even the guy told me that please don't give them money. I could not hold on to myself. I bent down on my knees to their level and saw them in their eyes and gave them my bracelets. Okay. Okay. They stood there gleaming at me, for they were pleased. Of course they'll be pleased. When this is not a everyday scenario where people are coming and giving you their things, of course a child will be pleased by whatever they are getting. Okay. I felt completely in disbelief that this tiny gesture could mean so much. Though this experience was upsetting and a huge cultural shock, it will stay with me forever. Now the author is saying that, though it was a cultural shock for me, but it will stay with me forever, because this was a scenario defined in a narrative way, where the author actually encountered 4 girls who were very poor, did not have money to even wear shoes, were standing in the scorching sun, but the author tried to help them with whatever he had. This is a narration, this is a beautiful story. The moral of the story is that if you are a beautiful person and if you are trying to help the world, start today, start from whatever it takes, from whatever bit it takes. Okay, now we will see the descriptive passage. I hope you are clear with the narrative passage that we have defined. We will now reach to the descriptive passage. Descriptive passage is also one of the passages that comes from narrative passage, but it is more descriptive, it is more detailed. Okay, descriptive passages are often found in narrative passages, as I said, and can help create a vivid picture for the reader. Vivid picture for the reader. Okay, one way to identify descriptive passage is by its use of sensory language. Sensory language. How does a sensation work in us? If we see an accident happening, we get goosebumps. If we see a movie that has lights, effects, all those 3D effects, 7D effects, what do we get? We get sensory effects of goosebumps. Okay, it is coming from within. If you are sad, if you're seeing a person, if you're seeing a dead body, maybe you are sad, you're getting chills, you're getting temperature. Those are sensory effects. I mean, you're not actually sick, but your senses are working in its full stream. Okay, you understand that? That's how a descriptive passage looks like. Okay, here I have taken some examples of a beach scene, maybe a colorful flowers, maybe a fog. How does a fog work? You're in a hilly area, maybe you're in a Shimla, you're in Ooty, and the fogs are, just gliding over, below you. It looks like clouds, it looks like cotton candy, and that's how descriptive passage works. Description about something very beautiful, but you are seeing it actually. In narrative passage, what happens? That you're narrating a story, it's a story that happened, but in descriptive passage, it is actually talking about a substance. It is actually talking about sensory language, where it's the beach scene. A beach is actually there, or a fog is actually there. It is talking about a picturesque moment, where maybe he can talk about beach, where there is green turquoise color water, you have white sands, you have white or brown stones. I know what you're thinking. Are you thinking of Goa? I am also thinking the same. I just need a break and I really want to go to Goa. Are you guys up with me? We will go together after giving CAT 2024. That is our target. And after that, I will tell you that please go and visit Goa and actually feel the descriptive passage that we have been reading through for such a while. We have also attempted it, and now you are free to actually sense it. Sensory, you get it? You're actually there to sense all these beautiful things. Okay? Now, I think descriptive passage is very clear to you. We will move on to expository passages. Okay? Now, what does it talk about? Expository passage. Here's an example. I have given mosquitoes over here because we are talking about mosquitoes in this passage. Mosquitoes are insects that are disliked by many because they are annoying when one is outside. When you are outside, these mosquitoes come to your ears, sing a very beautiful song according to them, and then fly away. But that are annoying for you. Okay? Their bites itch and they carry diseases like the West Nile viruses. Yes, there are diseases, dengue, there is malaria that these small insects carry, and we have to be very careful. One reason mosquitoes are disliked is because they are so annoying while people are outside. People are outside for fun because these mosquitoes are also outside for fun. Their fun is biting us, and our fun is all ruined because of these mosquitoes. The author is trying to explain you over here that expository writing, also known as informational text, informational, where it is giving information about any disease, it is giving information about any insect that carries disease. It can be other insects also, but I have only specifically taken mosquitoes so that it is, simply explained to you, not very complicated by any means. Okay, is a type of discourse that aims to inform the reader by providing facts and informations about a topic. Okay, you get it? Facts and information about a topic. There was a mosquito, it bit you, and now you they have given you that disease. Now you carry that forward. Okay, yeah. So it's often used in academic subjects like history, science, and social science. All these facts and figures are used. You also know that. Can be found in textbooks, news articles, and all of those sorts. Even you find it in newspapers. Some common types of expository writing includes descriptive passage, descriptive essays, essays like process essays, comparison essays, problem or solution essays. These are basically essays. It will consist of a paragraph where it will have facts and figures, but we'll talk about a specific idea or fact. Okay, moving on to analytical passages. How does this work? Analytical passages. This works as a form of descriptive writing which is written on the basis of a chart, graph, data, outline, clues, or tables. Okay, so when you see a graph, even if you don't see a graph, if you see these kind of numbers written, I think it will be very, very informative at that time, so that you can define this as an analytical passage where you have to put analytical solutions, where you have to analyze something that goes through facts and figures, where these kind of numbers from history or from today's date also it is involved. Okay, this paragraph talks about the death rate which was from 1901 till 2101. This passage is actually talking about it. The paragraph shows birth and death rates starting from 1901 till 2101. Okay, now since 1901 the birth rate has remained more than the death rate until so it is talking about a comparison between these many years. Okay, you will actually analytically figure it that this graph is actually talking about some graphs of ups and downs of deaths and births in our country. Okay, I think this kind of paragraphs are clear. I'll not go much into it. I was just trying to explain you, giving you an example. But this is how you determine the peaked in 1961 to around 65,000. From 1961, birth rate has fluctuated multiple times between these numbers. So these numbers are very important to figure out if it is an analytical passage or not. Okay, right. So moving on to the last kind of passage that we have over here is about abstract passage. What is an abstract passage, everyone? Can you actually go back? Can you actually think of any abstract passage that has come across you? Because this is very important. I have seen these types of questions coming in competitive exams, and I'm sure that this should be one of the questions in these reading passages this year. So pay attention over here. The last type of writing is called abstract style. As the title states, the abstract style of writing is adopted in passages that deal with abstract topics like philosophy. Abstract, it doesn't have a substance. Okay, it doesn't have weightage. It is philosophy. It is talking about dreams. It is talking about some imaginations. Okay, now An impressive example of this would be the fantasy books that we all loved in our childhood, like Chacha Chaudhary, like Archie's, like Chandu Ke Chacha. All of these were fancy books that we used to read, which were abstract. They were not stories, they were only abstract that we used to believe back then. But now that we know that it was all abstract, it was all in our mind, the author was trying to fit in those stories at that time also. We have actually been in practice from childhood. It's just that we are preparing for a competitive exam right now. We are more serious. Yeah. Now, such passages do not express all the information explicitly. Okay. Their abstract style of writing typically confirms non-material concepts. Non-material concepts. That's what I said. It doesn't have a substance. Just remember this. It doesn't have a substance. Okay. That may be represented symbolically. Why not begin with reading about some philosophical topics that engage you? Why not? Read something philosophical that engages you. It doesn't have to have a conclusion or a moral at the end. Just read it for the sake of it. Just read it because you want to read something. Just read it because you want to read a story today. Just read it because you want to, enjoy your life today. Yes? People who loves reading or loves reading novel, I think they have a I think they have a rough idea what an abstract passage means. Okay? Look for the tone and construction of the passage to figure out the author's message. Tone I was talking about can be negative, can be positive. Look for the tone of the authors. What is he talking about? And you will be very easily, figuring out how this passage will work henceforth. Such passages may seem complex and demand a second reading to understand the passage again. But we do not have so much time. We will be so quick and so sharp in reading the passage that we understand it in the first go. Okay? Now we will see how these passages work when we are reading these passages through. Okay? I may have slipped through some of these passages, but I am on the right slide. Please bear with me, okay? Now, the strategies that these passages require. Skim the passage first to get an overview. Skim the passage. What have we learned over this period? That skimming a passage. What is skimming a passage? Skimming through a passage means avoiding those fillers, avoiding those is, but, the that we can avoid, to just run over, not rapidly. We just don't have to run over it just for the sake of it, but we have to work very smartly. We have to see, we have to figure out those facts and figures. We have to underline those bold things that are repeated again in that passage, or maybe the facts and figures that are involved on those passages that requires our attention, and we'll skim through the passage by just getting through if that passage contains 77 words, by skimming you can actually cut down those by almost 50%. That's how the ratio works. You can actually take out maybe 30 words, maybe 33 or 34 words from it, and it will actually save your time. It will be so time constrained at that time. You'll also figure out that how quickly and how efficiently you will go through the passage by just skimming over it. Okay? Now, identify the main idea and structure. Main idea and structure. I have actually done sessions on main idea and structure of the passage, where the author is trying to tell you his main idea in just 2 or 3, the very 1/3 of the passage, and you will actually try to grasp from there what the author is trying to tell you in the entire passage. If you get that main idea and structure of the passage, the entire passage will be a cakewalk. Trust me. Okay? Look for keywords and context clues. What did I say? Skim over through context and keywords. Just not stick to the fillers. Skim over and just stick to the main keywords. Okay? Answer questions based on the passage context. Okay? That is, I think that is very clear, that we have to answer the questions based on the topic, not just hey why, not just from there. You have to actually get to that right answer from eliminating all those wrong answers from the question answers. Okay, now moving on to the other section, which is the verbal ability, which is mastering common grammatical rules and errors. We have actually gone through this, and I don't want you to focus on grammar and vocabulary right now. Okay, you have time for grammar and vocabulary. People who have been preparing for CAT for almost 11-12 months, for 9 months or for 7 months, knows that vocabulary is important, but not at this last moment. Okay, I will not suggest you that you should go through this at the last moment. Okay, for now vocabulary has to be at the back end. I think when you're going through a sentence, if you're not even understanding that particular word, if you read through the sentence, you will actually understand the meaning of the sentence. You don't have to just go and get fixed on just that word because you don't know the meaning of that word. Okay, moving on to how do we practice these VARC section, the reading comprehension sections. I have always told you that reading will make you perfect. Okay, be it a man, be it a woman, be it all my boys and girls, reading will make you perfect. Pick that newspaper from your father's hand and tell him that आज मुझे दे दो भाई न्यूज़पेपर, मुझे पढ़ना है ये. आप पूरे दिन पढ़ लेना जैसे कि आप पढ़ते हो, लेकिन आज मुझे दे दो, because newspaper contains all the facts and figures, all the information from various sources of the world. It has philosophical news, it has economical news, it has political news, it has transport news, it has Bollywood news, as you know all of us like. It has all the informations. You don't have to go through any digital platform to read a newspaper. I think reading newspaper has been very basic in our life from childhood. Our grandparents, our father have been reading these newspapers from very beginning, and I think that's how we bring in practice. Okay, that's what I said, reading newspaper, journals. And I think Unacademy also has editorial sessions on YouTube, which you should attend. And I think if you want, I will also do these editorial sessions for you in the morning, so that you have an idea where I will actually read through a newspaper section and I point out words that will be those vocabulary enhancer for that week. Okay, practice test. This is very basic. You have to take practice test, mock test, and it will not define your mark sheet for the end. If you are not getting that desired marks or that desired number for now, don't worry. Just don't worry. If you attend these sessions regularly, if you're very attentive in the classes, I think these numbers will just double by days to come. Okay, so just practice, just give mock test regularly, just be very punctual with all of these practices. Okay, review mistakes. Now when you are going through mocks and if you're not getting the desired numbers, review what your mistakes have been. Review that what section is being difficult for you, what sections are being uncomfortable for you, and work on those. And tell me, come in the comment box, or you can reach out to me personally. Just tell me where you're facing problems, and I will assure you that I'll plan the entire session on that particular problem. Vocabulary building, as I said as I told you, I'm so sorry. As I told you that vocabulary building can be a practice. It can have, you can have a flashcard, or you can have a dictionary, you can have a personal dictionary that I have always told you that you make your own personal dictionary. But for now, just hold on to this, because this will not be used in these 3 months. Okay, moving on to the other slide here. The common pitfalls to avoid. We are not only focusing on positive things, but we are also focusing on the pitfalls that we need to avoid as a VARC reader. Okay, rushing through passages. What I said, that we will skim through the passages but will not rush through the passages. We need to very smartly glide over those keywords and those facts and figures that are important for that passage that the author is trying to explain. We will just not, for the sake of it, rush through the passages through that, so that we are out of time and we are again reading through the passage again and again. We do the same thing and we are reaching nowhere. So we are not rushing, we are just maintaining our normal pace, just like I am doing it right now. Okay, ignoring question types. Pay attention to different types of questions and adapt your strategy accordingly. All the questions that the passage has or the examiner has set for you will have different kinds of strategy that will be required at the end when you will be solving a question. Okay, so you have to very strategically manage your time, manage your accuracy rate, so that you can actually bring those questions or answers or solutions the right way as it is required. Okay, over reliance on grammar rules. Don't, just like I told you, that please don't focus on grammar and vocabulary just for the sake of it right now, because you have the basic concept. If you had attempted for CAT 2024, I am sure that you are on another level from the people that have still not thought of sitting in any competitive exams. I am sure you have that basic knowledge, and I'm sure my students are so well prepared for this examination that their grammar and vocabulary would be fluent. And even if it is not, that's not a problem. You are at the right place, and I assure you that these will not be a barrier in your competitive exams. Okay, moving on to the first passage that we have. We will very slowly go through these passages so that we understand what the author is trying to tell us in his short passage. This is the kind of short passage that I have actually extracted from one of the papers that came previously. So I'll just give you a minute to just glide over this over here, so that you have a rough idea what the author is trying to tell you. And even if you don't have, I will explain it very explicitly. Please go through it. Sure. So I am back again. Hi, hello. Okay. So in recent years, teachers of introductory courses in Asia, America studies have been facing a dilemma non-existent. Guys, I am skimming over words. Please pay attention. This is how you will skim over words. A few decades ago, okay, when hardly any text in that field were available. What is the trying to tell you? What is the author trying to tell you in his first two lines? Guys, this is the main idea. You have to pay full attention over here, because that's how you will determine the other areas, other sections of the passage. In recent years, teachers of introductory courses in Asia American studies have been facing a dilemma non-existent a few decades ago, when hardly any text in that field were available. Okay, today excellent anthologies and other introductory texts exist. Today it exists. Okay, and books on individual Asia American nationality groups and on general issues important for Asian Americans are published almost every week. Today, the Asian American nationality groups and on general issues important for Asian Americans are published almost every week. But a decade ago, the people were facing dilemma where the text weren't available. The text in that field were not available. There were not definite text that should go out in public, that should go out to the students or even for surveys. Okay, even professors who are experts in the field find it difficult to decide which of these to assign to students. Okay, the fields, the professors, the concerned persons were also feeling difficult to understand what what should go out in public because they were limited text. Okay, non-experts who teach in related areas and are looking for writings for and by Asian Americans to include in survey courses are in an even worse positions. What does it say? That non-experts who teach in these areas are also in confusion and in the worst position ever because their these included non-survey courses are also not available. A complicating factor has been the continuing lack of specialized one-volume reference work on Asian Americans, such as biological dictionaries or desktops encyclopedias. What does it say? That a complicating factor has been the continuing lack of specialized one-volume references works on Asian Americans, such as biological dictionaries or desktop encyclopedia. All this is telling you a problem that was faced in that decade where people were sort of, information, sort of the text that, actually would go to the students where they could actually read in this cultural environment. Okay, moving forward, what does it say? Such works would enable students taking Asian American studies courses to look up basic information on Asian American individuals, institutes, history and culture without having to wade through mountains of primary source material. Okay, what does it talk about? It talks about that the students taking Asian American studies courses to look up basic informations about individuals, institutionals, history and cultural without having to wade through mountains of primary source material that was also limited. In addition, give such works Asian American studies professors might feel more free to include more challenging Asian American materials in their introductory reading list, since good references work allows students to acquire on their own the background information necessary to interpret difficult or unfamiliar material. Okay, are we on it? Are we understanding what does the author tries to tell us? He is first trying to tell us the main idea over here, where the teachers of introductory courses were in a dilemma that there were hardly any text in that fields available. For now he is giving an elaboration where he is trying to tell that now it is not difficult, where the Asian American nationality group text and informations are surveyed or circulated weekly, but a decade ago it was a problem, it was limited. He is discussing a problem over here. Furthermore, he is trying to give you support to his basic idea. All this is facts and figures that the students used to take, or the professors or the concerned person of that basic subject used to take. Okay, moving on to the first questions, howsoever, what will it be? Okay, the author of the passage is primarily concerned with doing which of the following? I think this will be very easy to answer. Recommending a methodology. Did we come across any word or any substance or any idea where the author was trying to tell us about the methodology? Do you want to go to run over the passage again and we will see, are we discussing any methodology over here? No, we are not discussing. We are discussing a problem and how it was affecting that your people. Now, I don't think this is the right answer because this is recommending a methodology and we are not discussing about any specific methods that were trying to be applied over there. Describing a course of study. Was it describing a course of study? No, it wasn't about describing a course of study because people were finding it very, very difficult for even, specific text to go out because there were very limited texts. Discussing a problem. Was it discussing a problem? It may be, right? It was discussing about a problem that was going in Asian and American culture that time. I think we'll hold on to this. We will see if the other two answers are correct or not, and then we will, switch on to this. Evaluating a past course of action. The author is not trying to tell you what the past course of action would be or was taken in the past. We certainly are not on this. Responding to a criticism. No, we were not responding to a criticism. We were just discussing a problem which the people were facing in that decade. Absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. I think this is the answer to our question. We were discussing a problem. The passage in the primary concern, the author is trying to discuss a problem. Okay. We will now jump on to the other question. The dilemma. Do you remember we were talking about dilemma? I also underlined it. That's how skimming works. When you underline specific words, when you underline, you think that this should be important or this is repeated, or you're just skimming through a passage where these keywords are important, you actually end up to a solution. The dilemma mentioned in line 2 can best be characterized as being caused by the necessity to make a choice when faced with a lack of acceptance alternatives. Lack of acceptance alternatives. I don't think there were any alternatives discussed over here. So I don't think there were lack of alternatives. Lack of strict standards for evaluating alternatives. No, this is just the continuation of this. So there were no lack of strict standards. There were no lack of strict standards. They were still trying to figure out how will this work for the students, professors or teachers. Okay. Preponderance of bad alternatives as compared to good. There were no good and bad comparisons. So this option is eliminated. Multitude of different alternatives. Can we go back to the passage and see, are we getting multitude of different options? Yes, we were getting multitude of different options where the people are trying to tell you that there were introductory texts exist. Books on Americans were published almost every week, but few decades ago when hardly any text in that field were available, they were facing a dilemma. So we'll jump onto this question, and I think we'll hold on to this because we have certainly different alternatives where the author is trying to discuss what can be different alternatives to actually survey these texts right now. Large number of alternatives that are nearly identical in context. Large numbers of alternatives. Were there large number of alternatives? No, they were very specific, they were very basic, there were very limited alternatives that they were maybe rolling onto or skipping onto. So this is absolutely wrong. I think this should be your right answer too, because this is the right answer to this question. Okay. Now we are moving to the other slide where we are discussing the third question. The passage suggests that the factor mentioned in line 14 to 17 complicates professors' attempts to construct introductory reading list for courses in Asian American studies in which of the following ways? By making it difficult for professors to identify primary source material and to obtain standard information on Asian American history and culture. Was it correct? No, it wasn't. The author was not trying to make it difficult for professors to identify primary source. They had the primary source. It was just that, they were trying to figure out how should we go about it. How should we go about the text, that limited text that they have in that decade. So this is absolutely wrong. By preventing professors from identifying excellent anthologies and introductory text in the field that are both recent and understandable to students. Is this the correct answer? I don't think so. By preventing professors from identifying excellent. No, the professors were trying to make it easy for the students. They were not trying to make it difficult. So by preventing professors from identifying excellent anthologies and introductory texts were not the issue. If the professors find out ways to give out the material to students, what best can work for any country over there. So Moving on to the other one, by preventing professors from adequately evaluating the quality of the numerous texts currently being published in the field. Absolutely wrong. Okay, the professors were not evaluating the quality. They had limited text and they were just contemplating that how these texts can actually help the students and other people who are actually reading this text. Okay, by making it more necessary professors to select readings for their courses that are not too challenging for students unfamiliar with Asian American history and culture. Okay, I think this can be the right answers because obviously the professors were trying to select readings for their courses that are not too challenging for the students. Of course, the professor usually does that. I usually do that. I have picked passages that are not very difficult or very challenging for you, right? So that's how the professors were working over there. We'll hold on to this. We'll read the last answer, solution, the option that is given there, and then we'll jump onto this. Maybe by making it more likely that the readings professors assign to students in their courses will be drawn solely from primary sources. No, absolutely not. No. They were not trying to get it. I think the author is trying to confuse you by using this primary sources as his keyword all over again and again. Okay, so let's not focus on this. This is absolutely wrong. The right answer is fourth one, where the professors like me are trying to make things easy for you. Okay, moving on to the last question of this passage. The passage implies that which of the following was true of introductory courses in Asian American studies a few decades ago. Remember the main idea. The main idea was where the author was talking about few decades ago, and if you have paid attention over there, this question will be solved very easily. Okay, so that's how, and that's when I tell you, please focus on the main idea, because that doesn't only define the entire passage, that also gives you solution for your questions. Okay, the author will by now, then and how, wherever he stucks, he will ask you questions. There will be a question. I'm telling you, there will be a question from the main idea, and it has come over here. The range of different textbooks that could be assigned for such courses were extremely limited. Can this be the right answer? Maybe, that's what we read about a decade ago, that the range of different textbooks that could be assigned for such courses was extremely limited. We'll hold on to this answer. We'll read the other options that are given. The texts assigned as reading in such courses were often not very challenging for students. No, it were challenging because there were limited texts, there were limited information, and the information that was otherwise also gone out in public should be correct. Okay, that cannot be wrong. Students often complained about the text assigned to them in such courses. No, we have not read anything about it. Just don't contemplate in your mind nothing about a student complaining about any textbook that were going to them. Such courses were offered only at schools whose libraries were rich in primary sources. No, not at all. We did not come across this. Did we come across this? No, we did not. Nothing that we came across will be an option. Okay, please don't even waste time on this. Such courses were the only means then available by which people in the United States could acquire knowledge of the field. Absolutely not. We did not read about United States. We did not read about any such things where it was defined that the courses were not by any means available for the people in the United States that acquire knowledge of that field. Okay, so what is the correct answer? The correct answer is the very first option, where it is written the range of different textbooks that could be assigned for such courses were extremely limited. It was extremely limited. The author has tried to make his point in the entire passage that it was extremely limited. The texts were extremely limited at that time. Okay, I think this passage was an easy passage for you. Because we are running out of time, I will skip on to the other passage that I framed over here, but I assure you that this passage will be available in my next session. This is a short passage that I have given over here, and it is very easy to go through, skim through over it, and we will actually solve this in our coming sections. Okay, now the second last slide of our session talks about what are the things that you need to remember. I think everyone out there have gone through this session and would have understood that what are the types of passages, just by just seeing an example, how does it look like. I think if you practice after this, just take out an hour and just go through the types of passages, so that you can just revise through what I have taught you, and you will know that these are not very difficult subjects, very difficult to understand. It is very easy, and it'll get easier from here. Okay, just focus on your examination and practice. Maintain that focus. That focus is very important for you guys, and I'm sure all my students are very focused, because till now I have been babbling over, I have been talking so much with you guys, but you're still here, and I'm so proud of you. Okay, now we'll just go through a little section that I have just defined from you, where mastering the VARC section requires a balanced approach and a reading comprehension and verbal ability. It requires a balance. It always requires a balance, where you balance accuracy, where you balance time, where you balance your patience, where you balance your reading speed. This is all about balancing things according to your style, according to how you take a passage in an examination. Okay. The second point talks about regular practice, strategic reading, and vocabulary enhancement will actually help you crack any competitive exams. Okay. The practice sessions to build confidence and improve performance. I will also take sessions where I will, build up your motivation, where I will build up your confidence. As I said, I have been a soft skill trainer, and this will actually add on to your personality in your PIs as well. So please stick with me, and this will help you not only in any competitive exam, but also in your life, and you will see how effectively you will groom yourself to any exams that life throws on you. Okay. Thank you so much for attending this session. I hope you guys liked this session, and if you liked this session, please like, share, and subscribe my channel, and you will have the notification whenever the class is live next time. Thank you so much. Have a very good evening, and I will see you guys soon.